All right, let's just jump right in. So, back in November 2025, the AI news cycle was just relentless. But right in the middle of all that noise, Google dropped something that was, well, a genuine leap forward. Its official name is Gemini 3 Pro Image, but let's be real, you've probably heard of it by its nickname, Nano Banana Pro. And we're going to dig into exactly why this thing is such a huge deal.
But before we get into the tech, let's talk about something that I'm sure has driven you crazy. You know the feeling, right? You prompt an AI to make this awesome poster, and the image is great, but the text on it? It's just complete gibberish. Or maybe you're trying to create a character for a story, and in every single image, she looks like a totally different person. It's a classic problem, and for a long time, those little flaws were the dead giveaway that you were looking at AI art.
So, Section 1, the AI image problem. And really, it's these exact issues, that mangled text, the characters that change from one picture to the next, that have been the biggest roadblock. It's the difference between a fun little toy and a serious professional tool. And that's the wall that Google was apparently determined to just completely break down.
Okay, so Section 2 is all about Google's thinking solution. And the big question is, what really makes Nano Banana Pro tick? Why is it so different? Well, this isn't just another small update, with slightly better shadows or something. No, the research we've looked at calls this a fundamental shift. It's a whole new way of doing things, built on a system that doesn't just throw pixels at a screen. It actually tries to think about what you're asking for before it even starts to draw.
So what's the secret sauce here? It's something they're calling a reasoning foundation model. Now, what does that even mean? Well, instead of just seeing the word car and spitting out a car picture, it actually analyzes the logic of your prompt first. It thinks about the physics. So if you ask for a shiny, wet car, it understands how light should reflect off that surface, or how a shadow should realistically bend over different objects. It's thinking about the scene as a whole before it makes a single pixel.
And this process is actually pretty fascinating. You can basically break it down into 3 steps. First, it takes your prompt and just deconstructs it, pulls out the core logic. Then, and this is the key part, it pre-reasons how everything fits together. The person, the background, the lighting, any text, it figures out all those relationships ahead of time. It's like it builds a little blueprint in its mind. And only then, once that blueprint is solid, does it move to step 3 and actually generate the image. That thinking part right in the middle, that's the real game changer.
All right, Section 3, 3 game-changing upgrades. So, this whole thinking process isn't just some abstract idea. It leads to 3 huge, real-world improvements that honestly fix some of the most annoying problems we've had with AI images for years.
Upgrade number 1 is perfect text. And look, I'm not talking about it getting a single word right once in a while. No, we're talking about whole sentences that make perfect sense, complex logos, even really intricate calligraphy in different languages like Arabic. It just nails it. That age-old problem of AI text looking like a mess? Yeah, that's pretty much a thing of the past now. And this is a bigger deal than you might think. I mean, for years, what was the easiest way to spot an AI image? The messed up text, right? It was a dead giveaway. But as this quote points out, by solving that problem, the model gets rid of one of the clearest signs we had to tell real from fake. And that has some pretty serious implications for all of us. It gets a whole lot harder to know what you're looking at. We'll definitely circle back to this point later.
Next up, upgrade number 2, deep consistency. Now this is the holy grail, especially if you're a creator, a storyteller, a marketer, anyone who needs things to look the same. We're talking about keeping a character looking exactly the same from image to image, or maintaining a super specific brand style across an entire campaign.
So, how does it do it? The secret is in the number of reference images it can handle. We're talking about up to 14 at once. Just think about that. You can feed it your detailed character sheets, your company's entire brand guide, a dozen photos of a product from every angle, and it will lock onto that style and not let go. For anyone trying to create consistent work, the amount of control this gives you is it's a massive leap forward. Okay, and the third and final upgrade might just be the most mind-blowing. It's called factual grounding. And what this means is that the AI isn't just making stuff up in its own little world anymore. It's actually connected to real, live information from the real world.
Because it plugs right into Google Search, Nano Banana Pro can do things other models can only dream of. For example, you could ask it to create an infographic about, the life cycle of a star, and it would be factually correct. Or it could build a technical diagram based on a brand new scientific paper. It could even visualize real-time data like what the stock market is doing right now. So it's not just an artist anymore, it's a visual researcher. It's creating images based on actual, verifiable facts.
Okay, part 4, Nano Banana versus the world. With all these new tricks up its sleeve, how does it really compare to the big players already out there? Let's break it down.
This comparison chart really lays it all out. You've still got Midjourney, which is the king when it comes to pure artistic control and getting that perfect aesthetic vibe. Then you have DALL-E 3, which is so tightly woven into ChatGPT that it's just super easy and conversational to use. But then you have Nano Banana Pro. It's not trying to beat them at their own game, it's creating its own lane. And that lane is all about that powerful reasoning, that flawless text, and its one-of-a-kind connection to real-world facts.
All right, Section 5, the realism dilemma. And we have to talk about this, because when you have an AI that can create images that are this real, right down to the text on a sign in the background, that's not just exciting, it's also a little scary. It brings up some really tough questions.
I think this quote from a tech review just hits the nail on the head. Unnervingly excellent. When AI gets to that point, that clear line we used to have between what's real and what's fake just starts to dissolve. And suddenly, the danger of really convincing deepfakes or misinformation isn't some far-off sci-fi problem. It's right here, right now.
So, what's Google's answer to this? Well, it's a technology called SynthID. The simplest way to think about it is like an invisible digital watermark. It's baked right into the pixels of every single image that Nano Banana Pro makes. Now, it's supposed to be really hard to remove, but let's be honest, this is a constant cat-and-mouse game. It's a really important first step for transparency for sure, but the bigger problem of how we use this technology responsibly, that's a much harder nut to crack.
So, Section 6, your new creative co-pilot. After all that, the big question is, what does this mean for you? If you're a designer, a marketer, an educator, is this the tool you've been waiting for?
And the truth is, it really depends on what you need to do. If you're in marketing, absolutely. Creating ads with perfect logos and branding just became a whole lot easier. If you're a product designer, you can now spin up tons of consistent mockups in a flash. And if you're an educator, you suddenly have a way to create visually rich, fact-checked diagrams and teaching aids like never before.
And that really brings us to the final, big idea here. The real revolution with Nano Banana Pro isn't just that the pictures are a little bit better. The revolution is the shift from an AI that just copies patterns to one that actually seems to reason about concepts. And so, the question I want to leave you with is this. When an AI can think before it draws, when it can understand the logic behind a request, what does that truly mean for the future of our own creativity?